The government defends the re-engagement of public servants, more COVID deaths on the books, and the Ministry of Agriculture makes a thoughtful donation. Good evening, everyone. I'm Leah Cooper with your Jcn News for this Friday, October 15th. The government defending the decision of the cabinet to re-engage public servants who have retired and are receiving pension and will also now receive a salary. The Office of the Prime Minister in a statement last evening noting that because of the public anxiety and political mischief making, it caused them to wish to clarify facts surrounding the decision after a local daily reported on a leaked memo regarding the re-engagement of two senior public officials. The OPM in the statement says, as we transition into government, the Davis administration, like many administrations which preceded it, has decided to re-engage two former senior public officials out of retirement. Their expertise and long years of experience in the public sector are invaluable in guiding us through the kind of systemic changes which we have promised to deliver for the Bahamian people. The statement continues, along with their salaries, they are being paid the pensions which are due to them for their long years of previous service. The pensions are legally and rightly due to them for this past service and continues irrespective of future employment. This is not a new policy, it says. This is not a policy under which scores of retirees will be brought back into the public service. However, the process by which such public officers will be engaged is selective, merit-based, and focus on filling assess skills gaps, meaning that, by definition, it will be used infrequently. Now, the OPM also noting that despite their public utterances, the F&M administration under Hubert Minnis implemented the same policy, only with a characteristic of favoritism and complete indifference to ordinary Bahamians. The statement says they applied the policy just to the favored few, canceling it for all other workers. Prime Minister Davis and his administration are committed to the principles of fairness, transparency, and accountability in public service. The statement says, quote, "We are committed to consulting widely and engaging the brightest and the best to address the enormous challenges facing our Bahamas." Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture Mario Boleg touring major government-owned sporting facilities with stops at the South Beach Pools in Blue Hills Sporting Complex and a few facilities. And while at the South Beach Pools, Minister Boleg was asked about the challenges created for the staff there as the Royal Bahamas Defense Force has for some time occupied office space as a lookout point for illegal immigration in southern New Providence. The minister acknowledging the problem, and he says he's committed to addressing it with his fellow ministers.
We have a duty as Bahamians to report what we see, and we want to ensure that there remains a harmonious relationship between the Ministry of Youth and National Security of the Defense Force. This is a strategic location. I think that they should have a presence out here. It may not be this particular building, but I think they should have a presence out here. And so the comments that the minister made speaks to a continued relationship. But I believe, honestly, that perhaps that we should look at an additional facility somewhere in this vicinity for national security, for the defense force. It's needed. Right now, this is the only building here, so it has to be shared. But we have to look at the possibility of coming out of the ground with something else.
Accompanying Mr. Boleg on the tour was Parliamentary Secretary for the Ministry of Works and Utilities, Bacchus Roll, who says while he supports the idea of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force being at the location, he too believes their accommodation should be independent of the South Beach Pools facility.
Well, the relationship is uttermost important because we want to make sure that our borders are protected from the immigrants coming in, especially from this southern section of the country, of the island of the province, I should say. But there should be, I would have a conversation with the Minister of National Security and see how best we can continue that partnership, but also ensure that space is available for the staff of Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture to be able to be comfortably down here. As it states right now, because of the Defense Force are using the room, they now have to be on the outside all day. And
The staff complement at the South Beach pools is between 6 to 8, including the maintenance and lifeguard departments. COVID-19 figures just released for Wednesday, October 13th and Thursday, October 14th. The Ministry of Health and Wellness dashboard showing that 14 unfortunate COVID-19 deaths have been added to the country's overall COVID-19 death toll, with 10 deaths added to deaths under investigation. On Wednesday, health officials reported the deaths of 8 men and 6 women ranging in age from 26 to 92 years old. 9 of those that succumbed to the virus were residents of New Providence, 2 were Inagua residents, 2 were residents of Long Island, and 1 a resident of Grand Bahama. These deaths occurred between October 2nd and October 8th. These deaths push the total death count to 622. Deaths under investigation tally at 43. Meantime, a combined total of 111 new infections were confirmed in country between Wednesday and Thursday. 78 new infections on New Providence, 4 with a history of travel, 13 on Long Island, 5 on Grand Bahama, Eleuthera, Acklands, 2 on Cat Island, 1 on Exuma, that case with a history of travel, 1 on Andros, and 1 case with the location pending. There are now 21,926 total cases in country, 1,216 of them active cases, 127 in hospital, 15 severely ill in intensive care. A total of 121 people were reported recovered over the 2 days. Total recoveries now at 19,912. And the Scientific Advisory Group of Experts, or SAGE, recommending 3rd doses of COVID-19 vaccines, but only for certain groups. During the Pan American Health Organization's weekly press briefing, Assistant Director of PAHO, Dr. Jarvis Barbosa, speaking by way of translator, advising that people with immunodeficiencies should receive a booster shot to protect themselves from COVID-19. Dr. Barbosa says that 3rd dose preferentially should be given with the same vaccine that an individual received their 1st and 2nd dose from. However, if there is no access to that particular vaccine, then another approved vaccine will prove effective. Currently, the Bahamas is not offering booster shots of the vaccine. You're watching JCN News. Stay with us.